They mocked the limbless alien girl in PE until the human student carried her on his back. Before we dive into this story, drop a quick hi in the comments and tell me where you're watching from. It really helps support the channel. The grand halls of Galactic Unity Academy shimmered under artificial sunlight, its corridors filled with the chatter of 24 different species from across the known universe. Among them walked Tyler Grant, the only human enrolled in the prestigious interstellar school this semester. Tyler adjusted the strap of his backpack as he navigated through the crowded hallway, still not entirely accustomed to the gravity settings that felt just slightly off compared to Earth. 3 months into his exchange program, and he still found himself marveling at the diversity around him. 6-limbed arachnians discussed quantum physics in chittering voices, while crystalline lemurians glowed with changing colors as they debated literature. A group of gaseous nebulans floated by in their containment suits, leaving trails of sparkling particles in their wake. It was physical education next, Tyler's least favorite subject. Not because he disliked physical activity. Back on Earth, he had been on the track team. But here at Galactic Unity Academy, PE meant competing against species with natural advantages humans simply didn't possess. Some students could fly, others had superhuman strength, and some could even manipulate gravity itself. How was a regular human supposed to measure up? As Tyler entered the massive gymnasium, he noticed the usual groups forming. The athletic Valkorians with their enhanced musculature were already showing off, leaping 20 feet into the air with ease. The serpentine draconids slithered at incredible speeds around the track. Even the gelatinous Morphians, who normally kept to themselves, were demonstrating their ability to stretch and contort into impossible shapes. Coach Zalter, a towering 4-armed Regulan with skin like polished obsidian, blew his whistle, a sound that somehow managed to be heard perfectly by every different auditory system in the room. Attention, students! Today we continue our unit on adaptive teamwork. The purpose of this unit is to learn how to leverage diverse physiologies in cooperative challenges. The coach's voice boomed across the gymnasium. Last week, we practiced single-species cooperation. Today, we move to mixed-species teams. A collective groan rippled through the student body. Nobody wanted to be paired with species they considered lesser or incompatible. Tyler felt the familiar weight of isolation pressing down on him. Humans weren't particularly respected in galactic society. They were newcomers to the interstellar community, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 40 years ago. Many species considered humans primitive, fragile, and intellectually limited. "I will assign the teams," Coach Zalter announced, silencing the murmurs of protest. And before anyone complains, remember that the entire point of this academy is to foster interspecies cooperation and understanding. Tyler half-listened as the coach began calling out names, pairing students together. His attention was drawn to a figure entering the gym from a side door. It was a thalassian, a species from an ocean world with high gravity. On their home planet, they moved through dense liquid environments using psychokinetic abilities. But here, in standard atmosphere, they required mobility assistance. This particular thalassian was female, based on the iridescent markings along her smooth, blue-gray skin. Unlike most of her kind who used hover platforms, she had no technological assistance. She also lacked the vestigial limb buds that most thalassians possessed. Instead, her body was completely serpentine from neck to tail, with only her head appearing humanoid, featuring large, expressive eyes and gill-like structures where ears would be on a human. Tyler had seen her before in some of his classes. Her name was Naya, if he remembered correctly. She was quiet, kept to herself, and often missed PE class altogether. Tyler had assumed she had some kind of medical exemption. "Naya Vextar," Coach Zalter called out. "You're finally joining us. The school board has determined that your continued absence from physical education is hindering your development of essential collaborative skills. You will participate today." Tyler watched as Naya slowly made her way toward the center of the gym, using her psychokinetic abilities to propel herself forward in an awkward, undulating motion. Several students snickered. A pair of Valkorians made exaggerated, slithering motions, mocking her progress. "What's she supposed to do?" One of them said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "She can't run, can't jump, can't even stand. Maybe she can be the ball," another suggested, triggering a wave of laughter. Tyler felt a surge of anger. He knew what it was like to be the odd one out, but at least he had his limbs. How was Naya supposed to participate in physical activities without any? Silence, Coach Salter commanded. Ridicule has no place in this academy. Now, as I was saying, the teams. He consulted his datapad. Tyler Grant and Naya Vextar, your team's 7. Tyler's heart sank. Not because he minded being paired with Naya, but because he had no idea how they were supposed to compete against the others. He looked over at his new teammate, who appeared equally dismayed. As students moved to join their assigned partners, Tyler walked over to Naya. "Hi," he said, kneeling down to be at eye level with her. "I'm Tyler. I know who you are," she replied, her voice melodic with a slight echo, as though speaking underwater. "The human. I'm sorry you got stuck with me." "Don't be sorry," Tyler said automatically. "I'm sure we'll figure something out." Naya's large, opalescent eyes studied him skeptically. "You don't need to pretend. We both know this pairing puts you at a disadvantage. I cannot perform the physical tasks required in this class." Before Tyler could respond, Coach Salter began explaining the day's challenge. Today's activity is the obstacle relay. Each team must navigate the course together. Both teammates must complete each obstacle before moving to the next. The course includes climbing, jumping, crawling, swimming, and balancing elements. You may use your natural abilities, but no technological aids are permitted. Tyler looked at the complex obstacle course that had materialized in the center of the gymnasium, a marvel of holographic technology and force fields. There were vertical climbing walls, wide chasms to jump across, narrow beams to balance on, tunnels to crawl through, and even a small anti-gravity swimming section. "This is impossible," Naya whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "I cannot climb or jump. I should not have come today." Tyler looked at her, then at the obstacle course, then back at the mocking faces of their classmates. Something stubborn ignited within him. "We're going to do this," he said with determination. "How?" Naya asked. Tyler took a deep breath. "I'll carry you." Naya's eyes widened. "What?" "I'll carry you," Tyler repeated. "On my back. You can wrap around my shoulders and torso. I'll be your limbs, and you can help me with your psychokinetic abilities where possible." That's ridiculous," Naya said, but there was a hint of hope in her voice. "Maybe," Tyler admitted, "but it's the only way we'll both complete the course. And honestly, I think we might have an advantage they don't expect." "What advantage?" "You're streamlined, and I bet you're not very heavy, coming from a water world. Plus, your psychokinetic abilities might help with balance or reducing our effective weight at key moments." Naya seemed to consider this. "It could work in theory, but no one has ever offered to carry me before." "Well, I'm offering now," Tyler said, turning and presenting his back. "Let's show them what we can do together." After a moment's hesitation, Naya moved forward. Using her abilities, she lifted herself and gently wrapped her serpentine body around Tyler's torso and shoulders. Her skin was smooth and slightly cool to the touch, and she weighed far less than Tyler had anticipated, perhaps due to the different cellular structure of thalassians, adapted for buoyancy in their home world's dense oceans. "Is this acceptable?" Naya asked, her face now beside his. "Perfect," Tyler replied, standing up carefully. He was surprised by how natural it felt, almost as if they had become a single, cohesive being. "Just tell me if you need to adjust." The other students had noticed their arrangement and were pointing and laughing. The Valkorians were particularly loud in their mockery. "Look at the primitive human, reduced to being a transport animal. Two weaklings don't make a strong team." Coach Zalter approached them with a concerned expression. "Mr. Grant, are you certain about this approach?" "Absolutely," Tyler said firmly. "The rules state we can use our natural abilities. My natural ability is adaptability, and I'm adapting to work with my teammate." The coach seemed impressed by this reasoning. "Very well. Teams, take your positions." As all 10 teams lined up at the starting line, Tyler could feel Naya trembling slightly against his back. "Are you okay?" he whispered. "I'm afraid," she admitted. "Not of the course, but of failing you. Of being a burden." "You're not a burden," Tyler assured her. "You're my teammate, and teammates support each other. That's what humans do best. We cooperate." The starting signal blared, and the teams surged forward toward the first obstacle. a 15-foot climbing wall. Tyler approached it at a steady run, analyzing the handholds. "Hold on tight," he told Naya. "And if you can use your abilities to make us a little lighter, that might help." "I'll try," she responded, concentrating. Tyler felt an immediate difference as he began to climb, a subtle lightness that made each pull upward easier than it should have been. With Naya's help, they scaled the wall quickly, surpassing two teams who had expected to leave them behind. At the top, Tyler paused. "That was amazing. How much weight can you offset?" "Not much in this atmosphere. Perhaps 20% of our combined mass, and only for short periods," Naya explained. "On my world, or in water, I could do much more." 20% is huge, Tyler said enthusiastically. "Let's keep going." The next obstacle was a series of platforms separated by increasingly wide gaps. Some teams were leaping across with ease, while others were struggling. "This one's going to be tricky," Tyler admitted. "I can help," Naya said with growing confidence. "When you jump, I can create a small psychokinetic push to extend our distance." Tyler nodded. "Perfect. Tell me when." As they approached the first gap, Naya tightened her hold slightly. "Jump now," Tyler leapt, and just as he did, he felt an invisible force propelling them forward, as if a gentle hand were pushing against his back. They cleared the gap with ease. "That was incredible," Tyler exclaimed. Working in unison, they continued through the course. At the crawling section, Tyler moved on his hands and knees while Naya adjusted her position to stay clear of the ground. In the anti-gravity swimming section, Naya's natural affinity for three-dimensional movement became their greatest asset, as she guided Tyler with gentle psychokinetic nudges in the right direction. Throughout it all, Tyler became increasingly aware of the surprised looks from both their classmates and Coach Zalter. No one had expected them to perform so well, least of all themselves. The final obstacle was a narrow balance beam suspended over a pool of harmless but sticky gel. Most teams were crossing it cautiously, with several already having fallen in. "This is where we shine," Naya said, her voice now filled with determination. "Balance is something Thalassians excel at. Our entire nervous system is attuned to spatial awareness." "Guide me," Tyler said, trusting her completely. As they stepped onto the beam, Naya began to make minute adjustments to Tyler's posture using her abilities, shifting his weight almost imperceptibly to maintain perfect balance. It felt to Tyler as though he were being steadied by invisible hands. They crossed the beam without a single wobble, finishing the course in third place overall, ahead of many teams composed of naturally athletic species. As they crossed the finish line, there was a moment of stunned silence before Coach Zalter began to applaud, quickly joined by many of the other students. "Exemplary demonstration of adaptive teamwork," the coach announced. "Team 7 has shown us the true meaning of complementary abilities." Tyler carefully knelt down to allow Naya to unwrap herself from his body. As she did, he noticed she was trembling again, but this time, he realized it was from emotion, not fear. "Are you okay?" he asked gently. "No one has ever," she started, her voice catching. "No one has ever helped me participate before. They always just excuse me or ignore me. You're the first person who saw me as capable." Tyler smiled. "Because you are capable. We just had to find the right way to work together." As they made their way back to the gathering area, several students approached them with newfound respect. Even some of the Valkorians who had mocked them earlier seemed impressed. "That was quite impressive problem-solving," admitted one of the Arachnians. "Your psychokinetic control is remarkable," a Lemurian told Naya, their crystalline body glowing with admiration. Coach Zalter called for everyone's attention. "This is precisely what Galactic Unity Academy stands for. Different species, with different abilities, finding ways to work together that capitalize on each other's strengths and compensate for each other's limitations. Team 7 may not have finished first, but they embodied the spirit of this exercise better than anyone." As class ended and students began to disperse, Naya remained close to Tyler. "Thank you," she said simply, "for carrying me." Tyler shrugged. "What are teammates for? Is that truly how humans view cooperation? As something so natural?" "Pretty much," Tyler said. "Throughout our history, humans have survived by working together, by carrying each other when needed. It's kind of our thing." Naya seemed to contemplate this. Would Would you be willing to be my partner again? For future classes? Tyler grinned. Absolutely. I think we make a pretty good team. Little did either of them know that this moment would mark the beginning not just of a partnership, but of a friendship that would challenge the perceptions of an entire academy. In the weeks that followed, Tyler and Naya became inseparable. They developed a routine for PE class, with Tyler carrying Naya on his back as they tackled increasingly complex physical challenges. What had begun as a necessity became a finely tuned collaboration, with Tyler providing the physical prowess and Naya contributing her psychokinetic abilities and exceptional spatial awareness. They began spending time together outside of class as well. Tyler would carry Naya through the botanical gardens, describing earth plants to her and listening as she explained the kelp forests of her home world. In the cafeteria, they sat together, ignoring the occasional stares from other students who still found their friendship unusual. One afternoon, as they studied in the library, Naya asked a question that had clearly been on her mind. Tyler, why aren't you embarrassed to carry me? Most species would consider it beneath their dignity. Tyler looked up from his quantum physics text, considering his answer carefully. On Earth, we have a saying, no one is an island. It means no one can truly stand alone. We all need help sometimes, and giving help when others need it isn't embarrassing. It's just being human. But physically carrying another sentient being, doesn't that make you feel like a beast of burden? Tyler shook his head. Not at all. Humans have been carrying each other for our entire history. Parents carry children. Friends carry injured friends. Rescuers carry those in danger. It's not demeaning. It's one of the most human things I can do. Naya's expression softened. Your species is fascinating. On my world, independence is highly valued. Those who cannot manage alone are often left behind. Is that why you're here? At the academy, she nodded slowly. My parents believe that interstellar education might offer me opportunities that our society would not. They sacrificed much to send me here, even though many criticized them for investing in a child with my limitations. They sound like good parents, Tyler said. They are. They always saw beyond my physical form to my intellectual potential. Naya paused. Much as you saw beyond my limitations to my abilities. Tyler smiled. Well, your limitations have saved us from falling on our faces at least a dozen times in PE, so I'd say they're working out pretty well for us. As their friendship grew, so did their reputation at the academy. Other students began to notice how effectively they worked together, how their seemingly mismatched physiologies complemented each other perfectly when properly coordinated. Coach Zalter was particularly impressed. After watching them complete a particularly challenging obstacle course, he approached them with an unexpected proposition. The annual Interstellar Academy Games are approaching, he said, his four arms crossed in front of him. Each academy sends teams to compete in various events. I would like to nominate you two for the Adaptive Challenges category. Tyler and Naya exchanged surprised glances. Us? Naya asked. Competing against other academies? Precisely, the coach confirmed. The adaptive challenges are designed to test interspecies cooperation. Most academies select pairs with obvious complementary abilities, strength, and flight, for instance. But I believe your unique approach could be unexpectedly effective. Tyler felt a surge of excitement. We'll do it. Wait, Naya interjected. This would mean representing the entire academy. If we fail, we would bring shame not just to ourselves, but to everyone here. Coach Zalter's expression softened slightly, an unusual sight for the normally stern Regulan. Ms. Vextar, when you first joined my class, I saw only your limitations. Mr. Grant helped all of us, see your capabilities instead. That perspective is exactly what the Interstellar Games should showcase. Naya turned to Tyler, her opalescent eyes searching his. What do you think? Truly, I think we can do this, Tyler said confidently. We've been getting better every day, and even if we don't win, we'll show everyone what's possible when different species truly work together. After a moment's hesitation, Naya nodded. Very well. We accept. Excellent, Coach Salter said. Training begins tomorrow. Be prepared for challenges unlike any you've faced in regular classes. He wasn't exaggerating. The next few weeks were grueling. The coach designed specialized training regimens that pushed both their individual and combined abilities to their limits. Tyler's muscles ached from carrying Naya for longer periods while running, climbing, and jumping. Naya strained her psychokinetic capabilities, learning to maintain her weight reduction effect for extended durations and to provide more precise balance assistance. They failed often. There were falls, collisions, and moments of frustration when it seemed they had reached the limits of what their partnership could achieve. After a particularly difficult session where they had repeatedly failed to complete a timed vertical climb, Naya was unusually quiet as Tyler carried her toward the academy dormitories. "What's wrong?" he asked, sensing her mood. "Perhaps we should withdraw from the competition," she said softly. "I'm holding you back. With a different partner, a Valkorian or an Arachnian, you could perform much better." Tyler stopped walking and carefully shifted so he could see her face. "That's not true. And even if it were, I wouldn't want another partner. We're in this together." "But why?" Naya pressed. "Why insist on carrying this burden? On carrying me, when there are more logical options?" Tyler thought for a moment. "Do you remember our first PE class together? When I offered to carry you? Of course. You asked me then if all humans view cooperation this way, as something natural. The truth is, humans are complicated. We can be selfish and cruel, just like any species. But throughout our history, the greatest human achievements have always come when we choose to lift each other up instead of leaving each other behind." He adjusted his stance, straightening his back. "So yes, I insist on carrying you, not because I'm stubborn or illogical, but because that's the kind of human I want to be. The kind who doesn't leave his friend behind just because the path gets steep." Naya was silent for a long moment. Then, almost imperceptibly, she tightened her hold around his shoulders, not the functional grip they used for training, but something closer to an embrace. "Thank you," she whispered, "for being that kind of human." The next day, they returned to training with renewed determination. Coach Zalter noticed the change immediately. "Something's different," he observed as they successfully completed a complex maneuver that had defeated them the day before. "We remembered why we're doing this," Tyler explained, sharing a knowing glance with Naya. As the day of the competition approached, word spread throughout the academy about the unusual human Thalassian team. Some students expressed skepticism, but many more offered encouragement. Even the Valkorians who had once mocked Naya now nodded respectfully when they passed in the corridors. The Interstellar Academy Games were held on a neutral space station designed specifically for interspecies athletics. When Tyler and Naya arrived with the rest of their academy's delegation, they were overwhelmed by the scale of the event. Thousands of students from dozens of academies across the galaxy had gathered to compete in various categories. The Adaptive Challenges Arena was a massive, reconfigurable space capable of transforming into different terrains and obstacle courses. As they waited for their event to begin, Tyler and Naya observed their competition. 12 other teams from prestigious academies, each composed of species selected for obvious physical compatibility. "They're all traditional pairings," Naya noted nervously. "Strength with flight, speed with precision, endurance with agility. And none of them are us," Tyler reminded her with a smile. "We have something they don't." "What's that?" 3 months of people telling us we can't do it. That's powerful motivation." The announcement system chimed, and a holographic display materialized in the center of the waiting area. It showed the course they would be facing, a multi-terrain challenge requiring teams to navigate through simulated environments representing different planetary conditions. "Competitors, prepare for the Galactic Traverse," announced the chief judge, a venerable Cerebian with metallic skin that reflected the lights of the arena. "You will face 5 environments: high-gravity planes, aquatic depths, low-gravity canyons, thermal vents, and vertical ascent. Teams must remain in physical contact throughout the course. The team with the fastest completion time wins." As the first team was called to the starting line, Tyler felt Naya adjusting her position on his back. "Are you comfortable?" he asked. "Yes," she replied. "But more importantly, I'm ready." They watched as the competing teams tackled the course one by one. Some excelled in particular environments, but struggled in others. A Valkorian Lemurian team moved with incredible speed through the high-gravity planes, but faltered in the aquatic depths. An Arachnian Nebulan pair navigated the low-gravity canyons with ease, but lost time in the thermal vents. Finally, it was their turn. As Tyler carried Naya to the starting line, he could hear murmurs from the spectators. Is that a human carrying a Thalassian? How are they going to compete like that? This should be interesting. The starting signal sounded, and they were off. The high-gravity planes felt like running through thick mud, with each step requiring tremendous effort. Tyler's muscles burned, but he felt Naya using her abilities to reduce their effective weight, not enough to nullify the challenge, but just enough to keep them moving steadily forward. They transitioned to the aquatic depths, where buoyancy and three-dimensional movement became critical. Here, Naya truly shone. Guiding Tyler with gentle psychokinetic nudges, she helped him navigate the underwater obstacles with a grace that belied his terrestrial nature. In the low-gravity canyons, they developed a rhythm of controlled leaps, with Naya timing her psychokinetic pushes perfectly to extend their jumps without sending them floating uncontrollably into the simulated atmosphere. The thermal vents presented a maze of superheated steam columns that erupted in seemingly random patterns. Here, Naya's superior sensory perception allowed her to anticipate eruptions seconds before they occurred, whispering urgent directions to Tyler that kept them one step ahead of danger. Finally came the vertical ascent, a sheer cliff face with minimal handholds, designed to test both strength and precision. This was what they had struggled with most during training. Remember, Naya said as they approached the wall. Steady rhythm. Trust your grip. I'll handle our balance. Tyler nodded, taking a deep breath before beginning the climb. Every muscle in his body screamed with exhaustion, but he focused on finding one handhold after another, trusting Naya to keep them stable as they ascended. Halfway up, his fingers slipped on a particularly narrow ledge. For a heart-stopping moment, they began to fall backward. Then he felt Naya exerting her psychokinetic force, not enough to lift them, but enough to slow their fall, giving Tyler precious seconds to reclaim his grip on the wall. I've got you, she assured him as they stabilized. And I've got you, he responded, resuming the climb with renewed determination. When they finally reached the top and crossed the finish line, the arena erupted in applause. They had completed the course with the third-best time overall, an astonishing achievement given the natural advantages of their competitors. As they caught their breath, the chief judge approached them. Remarkable teamwork, the Cerebian said, metallic skin glinting. Most impressive was not your speed, but your consistency across all environments. No significant weaknesses. A truly adaptive partnership. Coach Zalter, who had been watching from the sidelines, joined them with all four arms raised in celebration. I knew you could do it. Third place in your first Interstellar Games. But the most meaningful reaction came from the other competitors. The Valkorian from the team that had placed first extended a muscular hand to Tyler in a gesture of respect. We underestimated you, he admitted. Both of you. I've never seen a human and a Thalassian work together so effectively. Perhaps, added his Lemurian partner, there is more to adaptive teamwork than simply matching obvious physical advantages. As the awards ceremony concluded and the teams prepared to return to their respective academies, Tyler and Naya found a quiet moment away from the celebration. We did it, Tyler said, still slightly in disbelief. Yes, Naya agreed. But I believe we accomplished something more important than winning a medal. What's that? We showed everyone, including ourselves, that limitations only exist if we accept them as absolute. That with creativity and trust, barriers can become bridges. Tyler smiled. That's very profound. I've had a good teacher, she replied. You've shown me what it means to be carried, not as a burden, but as a partner. It's a lesson I won't forget. When they returned to Galactic Unity Academy, they were greeted as heroes. Students who had once mocked their unusual partnership now asked for advice on interspecies collaboration. Several instructors incorporated their teamwork model into their teaching methodologies. But the most significant change was in how the Academy viewed Naya. No longer was she seen as the limbless Thalassian girl who couldn't participate. She was recognized as a student with unique abilities that, when properly utilized, were incredibly valuable. The Academy made changes too. Hover platforms were still available for Thalassians who preferred them, but new programs were developed to explore alternative mobility solutions based on interspecies cooperation. Students from different species volunteered to assist each other in classes, where their natural physiologies created challenges. One afternoon, several months after the Interstellar Games, Tyler and Naya sat together in the botanical gardens, watching as a young Valkorian carefully carried a Nebulan whose containment suit had malfunctioned. "Look at that," Naya said softly. "Before you came, that never would have happened. The Nebulan would have been sent to the medical bay and missed class." Tyler shrugged. "Sometimes all it takes is one person willing to do things differently." "You changed things here, Tyler. You changed how species see each other." "We changed things," he corrected. "I just carried you. You had to be brave enough to be carried." Naya was quiet for a moment. "My parents are coming to visit next month. They've heard about our achievement at the games, and they want to meet you." "I'd be honored," Tyler said sincerely. "They've never seen me like this, participating fully, being part of everything. They've only known a galaxy that sees their daughter as limited, as less. You've shown everyone, including me, that different doesn't mean less." Tyler felt a lump in his throat. "That's what humans do best, I guess. We adapt, and we help others adapt too. We look at limitations and see possibilities instead." "Is that what you'll tell the first-year students?" Naya asked. "Coach Zalter mentioned we've been asked to speak to them about interspecies cooperation." Tyler grinned. "I'll tell them that in this vast galaxy, with all its different species and abilities and perspectives, the greatest strength we have is each other. That sometimes carrying someone else doesn't weigh you down, it lifts you both up." As they sat together in comfortable silence, Tyler reflected on how far they had come from that first PE class. He had arrived at Galactic Unity Academy feeling isolated, a human alone among the stars. Now he understood that true unity wasn't about erasing differences but embracing them, finding strength in diversity rather than despite it. And it had all started with one simple choice: the decision to carry a friend on his back. In the years that followed, the story of the human and the Thalassian would be told to new students at Galactic Unity Academy as an example of what was possible when different species truly worked together. The image of Tyler carrying Naya became a symbol of the Academy itself, a testament to the power of cooperation across physiological boundaries. More importantly, their partnership inspired similar collaborations across the interstellar academic community. Other academies began to reconsider their approach to students with different physical abilities, exploring cooperative solutions rather than mere accommodations. For Tyler and Naya personally, their experience led to careers in interspecies adaptive technology, designing systems and methodologies that enabled diverse species to work together effectively. What had begun as a simple solution to a PE class challenge evolved into innovations that benefited the entire galactic community. And whenever anyone asked Tyler why humans were so willing to carry others, he would smile and explain that sometimes the most human thing to do was to offer your strength to someone who needed it, not as charity, but as partnership. Because in the grand tapestry of the universe, each species had something unique to contribute. And by lifting each other up, they all reached heights that none could have achieved alone. And that was the end of the story. If you listened all the way to here, don't forget to leave feedback about what you thought of the story in the comments, whether positive or negative. Your feedback helps us improve. Also, leave your like and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this one. And I'll leave here on the screen another video that I'm sure you'll like. Big hug, and see you in the next story.